seen from the linebackers throughout this camp?
Yeah, I would say a really consistent unit. I think from a production standpoint, fit standpoint, one of the things that you constantly look for is an explosive run that for instance that happens in practice. By and large, there's 4 guys in the front and 2/3 linebackers behind them that you got to immediately turn to and say, okay, where was the deficiency? And so that hasn't been a consistent on a negative side of things. So again, it speaks to the consistency of the linebacker position. Coach D'Onofrio does a great job with those guys. There's a physicality about them. You notice them both in the run game and the pass game, which is another evaluation tool that you have. You can't just be the equivalent of a trash can in coverage, kind of someone to throw the ball around type of deal. Like there has to be, as we described, QB key, ball out break, that there's a purpose behind what you do. And sometimes you got to play man coverage, same thing. So I've been pleased with the group overall, and that's the position of all the positions in college football in particular that's probably the most difficult when you're talking about RPOs, quarterback run. Sometimes it looks like never been to one, but it looks like a rave. It's pullers and backs going this way, and the quarterback keeps it, and that's tough for a linebacker. And so that shows again from a schematic standpoint, and again, Coach D'Onofrio does a great job with those guys, but been pleased because they get challenged on damn near every rep.
What are you looking for from your defense the most in week 1?
I have to say effort. I think playing with a style of play that you can't have UCF fast in the weight room or make some claims and stuff like that because it sounds good or somebody puts it on a T-shirt. And it starts with our head coach. He expects effort. He expects a different style of play than what most defenses are willing to give. And so that's our aim, our charge as defensive staff. Certainly marries up with what our beliefs are. But I want to see these guys flying around, playing with effort, knocking things down when it gets maybe cloudy, and maybe a play that otherwise would be a 10-yard gain get knocked down for a 5-yard gain. And even the ones that make you cringe, a 15-yard gain that otherwise would have gone much further type of deal. And so you do that with effort.
Kind of going back to Matt's question, how much in the data collection and film collection standpoint are you juggling, say Clint Trickett did at Georgia Southern or at Marshall before that, and then how much are you kind of looking at the individual personnel of the players that they've brought in from other places?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, and I don't claim to know what that exact percentage is. You'll know after the game and say, okay, that's they leaned on blank or something along those lines. And so again, you try to be a little bit more in the way of broad strokes. If they were calling plays at a particular, you go into the archives and they'll do the same thing. Well, were they calling that play because of the personnel they had, or is that really in their DNA something that they wanted to do? And then same thing. In the meantime, did they go visit this NFL franchise or visit this team and decide, okay, we're going to go in this direction type of thing. And so you. Again, I guess the best way to say it is just broad strokes. Have an idea kind of who the personnel is and look at maybe some of the snaps that they've had in their past and maybe a little bit in the way of, again, the DNA of the coaching staff, and then admit you don't know what you don't know.
I'm just curious. You on camp through all of this. He played for Braden Marshall, so did you ask about it?
You know what? I haven't. I haven't, and part of that just stems from I don't want to assume things that they could, for instance, 100% or definitely this or definitely that. I don't want to put Cam in that position.
What can fans expect to see from UCF's defense 1 week away?
Yeah, I mentioned the effort piece, and we'll have as many of these we do over the course of the season, and I'll say that every single time. The thing we tell our guys is the first thing we look at when we're watching video of practice, and we'll do the same thing in games. The first thing we look at is, did we get maximum effort by 11 guys? And if the answer is no, then I don't know what scheme's going to compensate, what call is going to compensate for guys giving lousy effort. So that's the starting point. And then, beyond that is there's got to be a physical brand. There's got to be a finish to the play that allows for the possibility of takeaways. The finish to a play that allows for ball carriers and piles to go backwards. And so it starts with that effort, Pete. The more population you get to the football, right? That you get that contact has a tendency to be more real to a ball carrier, and so you got to get there. Then the second piece is have some ill intentions as you approach that human, and again, it's fun to talk about, but you got to go do it. So we be excited to see though. You guys are ready to go play live football.
I know you're probably looking more at X's and O's right now and getting the depth chart set and looking at the first opponent. But for you personally, how much are you embracing this new opportunity, this fresh start at UCF?
Yeah, I think every season you start getting that itch. I don't know what that time frame exactly is, but you're excited to get back on the grass and then in the end ultimately tee it up and actually go play real football. It's so much turns into theory, and we like this, and we think we're going to be able to do that, and juggling the pieces where it's talking to the guys about it's game week now, it's personnel. Like, okay, who's going to go in the game? What percentage of the time are you going to be in the game, and all those things, and like the problem-solving aspect of things as well. And no, excited to be at UCF and crank it up.
Alex, along that line, a week away, how were you emotionally? I mean, players talk about being excited to step on the field when things are going on. How about you as a coach? How excited are you for the season to start? To start in a new program, to have to see what you guys have in front of you. How exciting is that for you?
Yeah, extremely so. Very anxious, and you get into coaching, and yes, you want to mentor guys. Yes, you do it for practice. If you don't like practice, you only play 12 games. It makes it, I can only imagine a miserable existence if you're only doing it for games. But on the same note, there's a reason we don't coach 7-on-7. There's a reason you build a career at a certain level because there's a style, there's a game coming in, this one Thursday, but on Saturdays that you want to be a part of, and think that you can, improve the chances of your unit to play at high level to win that ball game, and for the individual guys to play at above their ability level because you were in the position meeting with them, you were in the unit meeting with them, and so again, you get a taste of it in practice, but no, awfully excited to be under the lights on Thursday night.
Is there anything you're most looking forward to learning about your defense in this first game?
Yeah, I think the fight is always different in a game than it is in practice. I mean, you try to simulate certain situations, but how do you attack adversity? And I mentioned it to the guys, and I'll mention it to them every week, and they'll get sick of hearing it. But it's the truth. Is the only thing promised on a game day is adversity. I mean, a number of things can happen, positive, negative, and everything else, but you're going to get adversity, how we're going to respond to it. And again, we try to make note of it in practice, and we responded to a lot of the scenarios that we've given them, and I give those guys credit for it. But there's a different emotional reaction to when there's seven points on the board, and you gave it up, as opposed to in practice where you just put the ball down and do it again. And so, anxious to see our response in those moments. And again, that's part of being a coach is preloading and training the guys for those moments and being in the fight with them and sticking with them just the same on the sideline as you're going through it. And it'd be the football gods have a tendency to reward those individuals that can fight adversity the best. And football gets a whole lot more fun when it gets hard, and you got to embrace that stuff. So that's the stuff that, again, you get a little bit of taste in practice, but that's why you play games.
How have you seen Coach Harris challenge the DBs throughout camp?
Yeah, I think Coach Harris and myself, it's our first time working together. Been extremely excited to work with him from a production standpoint. That's a nice starting point because it's maybe the easiest thing to evaluate. Had a productive fall camp, both and in spring football. And the defensive second, getting hands on footballs, takeaways, and some of those things. And it's a pretty good test, right? If you're not in the right position, the ball is not going to find your hand. So, been pleased that way. And I think from a physical standpoint as well, it takes 11 guys to support the run. And we got position group back there, the 5 DBs that been pleased with, guys' willingness and expectation to put pads on people and stuff. Like, we got to cover and we got to run. But I think been very pleased with Coach Harris and instilling in those guys the physical aspect of play as well. Yeah, I think that's a critical piece. You got a lot of new players, and you got new coaching staff coming together, and everybody has good ideas. And in the end, you got to make decision what's best for the group here. We've had successes at other places, have had failures at other places, and you draw from those. In the end, it's not what you want to do; it's what's best for the group. It's the same thing as it applies to me. And I've said it a number of times over the last 8 months. Okay, this is how we did it. It doesn't mean that's how we have to do it. Okay, then now let's have real conversations as we go through it. And yes, you got to be on the same page and all working in the same direction. Been very pleased with that thus far.
We're about to talk to a couple of your guys back here, Jaden Williams and Braden Marshall. Can you talk about that duo and what they meant to your group, and what are your expectations of them?
Braeden knows I'm mad at him for one play in practice, but no, Braden's done a really nice job coming off. He wasn't able to participate in everything in the spring, and so again, new staff. All right, well, it just everything is theory. Okay, if this happens, when that happens, you're kind of living vicariously through everybody else, or in a walkthrough or something like that. The things you can participate in. But I thought did a nice job hitting the ground running this fall camp, and then it's going to be a major piece of the secondary for us. Again, been a very consistent guy. I think he draws from the game reps that he's had. And there's a maturity about him, which is critical to have, especially in the secondary. Some forces can work against you in terms of having lack of maturity in the secondary. It shows itself more than any other position in football, in my opinion. And so, been pleased with him. Excited to see him get a chance to go out there and play. And Jaden Williams, the guy that we added in the offseason, that's completely different, but similar in that. You don't get the reps, and it's not just 15 practices in spring football. It's all the meetings and walkthroughs and that before and after, and you don't get a chance to participate in those things. And so it's got to be a crash course, and you got to learn from the video of other guys doing it, and then you hit the ground running. And where we've been at, especially with a new staff, and number one, this is a credit to the guys, is the ability to try guys at different spots in the secondary. Again, one is because you don't know them well enough and trying to see, okay, what's the right combination of guys back there. That only works if they're able to do a lot in the way of skill sets. And so both those guys, J. Will and B. Marsh, fit that category. And sometimes they get mad at me, because shoot, coach, you put me in another spot type of thing. But it's credit to them because we think they have the ability to do those things.
Last one, with regards to putting together the depth chart, you said it's not just about finding the starters, but finding that next guy right behind them. Who are some of the players over the course of the month that have elevated themselves and put themselves in a position to be contributors as that next guy?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of just specific names. Probably a better question just as we get maybe after game one, get a better idea once we make a final decision in terms of what that depth looks like. But 7 days out, have a conversation with the defensive backs this morning. Okay, how do we do this? After Thursday's practice, we make a determination what those rotations are even going to be, and it can change from a week in and week out basis. And I think the pool of guys is probably larger. Sometimes it's easier as a coach when it may not be what's best from a coaching standpoint, but easier as a coach when you got say 5 guys and it's very obvious that guy. Now, that's well and good as long as you don't have to ever take them out of the game. And so what's best holistically is to have a group of guys that you say, okay, well, there could be a role for this guy. Maybe if we have a rotation and we can get the best version of all these guys if we do some of those things. So that's a decision that's not just made before the first game, but it'll be made every single week, and it can change. And I give the guys examples over time, guys that were corners that second week of the season, they're a corner, and then all of a sudden they're nickel/safety, and those aren't made up stories. They're very, very real. Or a guy that was a starter that didn't find himself in the depth past the first couple of weeks. There's the negative stories too. So anyway, it'll develop over time, and hard to again just because haven't completely come to the determination who those starters actually are yet. But I mentioned Jaden McDonald as a linebacker coming in from Virginia Tech. Same some of the J. Will that just didn't have the time with us. You just noticed him, as a guy that, okay, this is a guy that, you could obviously earmark after spring because he wasn't in the program, but just you kind of take notice of some things. All right, thank y'all.
Jaden, welcome to UCF. I know you're one of the more recent additions. You weren't here in spring. So just kind of talk us through the decision. I know you were at FAU. What was it about UCF that made you want to come here and be a Knight?
I would say, because you guys know that Coach Harris and Jeff Love, they all came from FAU. Phil Dunham, Cam Fancher, a lot of guys. So I knew that this place would be home. Like, it wouldn't be nothing different from FAU. The coaches, Coach Frost, they all made it feel like home, so it was a no-brainer to me.
We just heard from Coach Grinch, who said that you kind of had to go through a crash course for this job coming in after spring. What was that process like for you, maybe getting caught up with everything? How difficult was it, or was it difficult for you?
I would say it was a lot of learning, a lot of mental reps, a lot of standing back, looking at the other guys perform and see how they move, see the footworks and stuff like that. So I would say it wasn't really a crash course because this is my 5th year, and it's not new to me to learn a new playbook because of all the coaches I went through at FAU. But I would say it was definitely a learning experience, but a great learning experience. I took a lot of coaching points from my teammates. The guys in the secondary really helped me out with that. So it wasn't that hard. It was easy because of them and the coaches around me.
What is this defense going to be known for going into the first game?
I would say fast and physical. Our DC preaches effort every day. We're not giving effort. We're doing up, down. So I would say we flying around, making plays. Definitely a lot of playmakers back there, too.
And what were some of the biggest strides that you guys made throughout fall camp?
Strides, I would say communication. Communication, we kind of started off slow, kind of trying to get, gelled together as brothers. I feel like the chemistry is cooking now. We cooking. So I would say the communication, the down calls, all that stuff. So definitely the communication, I would say, is our biggest stride.
You've served as captain in a previous style. What kind of leader are you?
I would say I'm more of vocal, trying to encourage the younger guys to pick it up off the field. On the field, I'm really just trying to get my checks, you feel me, just make sure I'm doing my job and make sure my corner, my safety know what they're doing. So I would say this year at FAU, I was kind of like a big team guy, like a team leader, but now I try to see my role and not try to overstep anybody's other role. So I would say I kind of do my part off the field, on the field, encourage the younger guys to pick it up sometimes. So I would say, yeah, more of a vocal, off the field type of leader.
What's the challenge in that when there's so many new guys and you're one of them?
I would say it's not really a challenge because football, I would say it's the best team sport. So I feel like we come together so easily. The brotherhood is so easily to come together in football. So I would say probably the biggest challenge would just be the chemistry, getting the chemistry rocking and cooking. So not really a challenge, but I would say that the chemistry is probably the biggest.
Coach Grinch talked on physicality and effort coming into next week's game. What do you expect to show the fans at UCF for next week?
I would say speed and physicality for sure. See, me, I'm a guy that is fearless. You feel me? I don't really hesitate and think too much on the field. So physicality will definitely be shown on next Thursday, not just from me, but from the guys, offense, defense. Yeah, that's something that Frost instilled in us, so I can't wait.
As you mentioned, you were teammates with Cam Fancher and Ford Atlanta. It was the season was going to start. What can you tell fans and what you like about this game and the way he approaches the position?
Cam Fancher is a great guy, but I would say that our quarterback room is amazing. Taven, Jakuri, I would say all them guys are great. So whoever's out there on Thursday will help the team win. But Cam's a great guy on and off the field, and same with the other guys in the room. I just can't wait. Whoever they put out there is going to give us the best chance to win.
Jayden, Cam was the team captain when you guys were both at Florida Atlantic. What have you seen about his leadership style there that he's brought over here, and what makes him stand out in that leadership capacity?
I would say kind of over here, Cam is probably a more vocal guy here. FAU, it's kind of just filling in, filling it out. I think that here, the other guys in the quarterback room has helped him become more of a leader, and they all are great leaders. So I feel like the quarterback room, they kind of feed off each other, and it's helped every single last one of them become more vocal, more of a leader in that room.
You mentioned sort of getting a crash course on this defense. It's new to everyone, both the coach and the coaching staff. How do you guys lift each other up to kind of find your identity on that?
We know that brotherhood is what wins games. Chemistry, sticking together through adversity is how you win games. So I think we've took pride in that, understanding that we can't do it without each other. Without the brother to our right and the brother to our left, we can't win games. So our coaches kind of instilled that in us with the Army training we went through back in summer. So I would say like coming together is a big piece.
Jayden, you've got a lot of experience playing, but this is now you're at UCF, you're the Power 4, Big 12 level. How much are you looking forward to this opportunity? What do you want to prove this season?
Man, I'm excited. I'm blessed to be here. I can't wait to go out there and show what I can do. I'm just excited to compete with my teammates, man. I'm super excited, super blessed.
What are your best strengths? What do you think your best skills are playing safety?
I would say my physicality, like I said, my fearlessness, being able to make plays on the ball. Yeah, man, especially my physicality, man. I don't hesitate. I go out there and shoot it, let it hang, man. So I can't wait. I can't wait on that.
Jayden, I know you guys are just starting the preparations for Jacksonville's game. Have you had a chance to look at them? What kind of got an early evaluation of what you're going to see from them next week?
They got a new coaching staff and stuff like that, so we don't really know 100%. Frost tells us, not Frost, but Grinch tells us we don't know 100% what they're gonna do, but we got little reads, little keys that we've been working on throughout practice this week. So we're really not sure 100% what they're gonna do and what they're gonna bring out, just like they don't know what we're gonna do and what we're gonna bring out. So it's kind of gonna be whatever we see out there, we're gonna adjust to. We got all the adjustments to come out in any formation, so I believe we're prepared.
You mentioned you're excited to get out there, go on the field for week 1. Do you feel like you have a chip on your shoulder going into the season? Do you have anything you want to prove?
Oh, no doubt. I want to prove that I can play at this level, that this is like, it won't be a fall off. It won't be nothing different from me. I've been competing with the best since I was a little kid, so it won't be really nothing different from me. So I wouldn't say that I'm proving nobody wrong. I'm just proving, myself right. Oh, great guys. Great guys. I really like that room. We got a lot of speed, a lot of talent, and the receiver coach does a great job with them. They're competitors. They make us better. We make them better. So it's just a great group of guys.
You felt challenged by the way.
Oh, no doubt. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Was that last one for you, Braden? Yeah. Playing with Philadelphia now for quite some time. What works together with your skill sets? How do you guys kind of build a playoff?
Phil Dunham, man, great athlete. He's one of the best that I've seen. With Phil Dunham, I would say that I kind of play off his game because he's aggressive. He likes to go make plays on the ball, and I just always let him know that I got his back. He got my back. And it's just not just for us to, like the whole room, we kind of play off each other's skill set. So, yeah, we just play together. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jayden. Thanks, Jayden.
All right, Braden, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, good. So how much are you looking forward to next week? This time, a week from now, you're going to be getting dressed and getting ready to play your first game. How much are you looking forward to the season?
I'm excited just to get back, just to be with, the guys that – some of the guys, I didn't get to finish the season with last year, and the new guys we brought in. I'm just excited to be back.
You going into this first game, how much excited are you with the defense? What do you see from this group, and what stood out to you about this?
We have talent all around the defensive field. I love Coach Grinch's scheme. He allows, the defensive backs to play ball, and, being able to play ball, we have God-given talents that we're able to use, and I'm excited to use it.
How excited are you to finally go against another team?
Oh, no, I'm excited, man. You get going against the same guys, every day. It's just time to play somebody else, and I think everybody's excited for that one.
What do you look forward to learning the most in this first game about your defense?
Really how we respond to adversity. There's going to be adversity throughout the whole season, but it's the way how we respond. And we just stay together, not just this game, but the whole year. I think we're going to be pretty solid.
Earlier you mentioned Coach Grinch's defense. How does it work for your style?
Just allows me to play fast and physical. And like I said before, I feel like that's when I'm at my best.
Jayden talked on Army training that happened over summer. Can you tell us more about that? What was that like for you?
I think it was great just for the whole team camaraderie. Coach Frost has done a great job doing that. It's brought us all together. I feel like we're way closer than we were, the year before, and I feel like it's going to play a big part this year.
Last week you were one of the 6 guys that spoke for lunch. So how are you embracing not only a leadership role within your position group or within the room, but also being kind of a face for this team with the full fan base?
I just want to, be a leader to the guys, the whole team, and just the younger guys too. Give wisdom to all of them, because I want everybody to win. We're all in this together.
Braeden, talking with Jayden, talking about the defensive backs during this fall camp. I've noticed that it seemed to be very deep. When you look at the defensive back room, how much is depth going to play a role for you guys this time around?
It's big and it's key. I feel like there's no layoff from all the positions, not just from the defensive backfield, from the linebacker and the D-line. And just having a deep group, I feel like we're going to be dangerous this year.
Who's somebody that maybe might get a little overshadowed by the depth, but you think is in store for a really big year?
We have a lot of guys. I could say one, Christian Peterson. He's a dog. We have corners too. We have DJ Bell, dog. We have guys all around. That might be a 2, but I feel like, we have a strong second group, third group. There's no layoff, and that's big for us. It's a great feeling. The new day and age of college football, it's different. And you might have a new team every semester. You never know. But like I said, Coach Foster's done a great job. And, having us together, football, like Jay Will said, it's probably one of the best teams in sports in the whole world. And so when we're together and we got brothers to the left and to the right of you, we lock in arms and going to war.
What are going to be the trademarks that we're going to see of this Alex Grinch defense? How are you guys maybe different than where you were before? And what do you think we're going to see?
We're aggressive, and we're coming, for real.
Are you excited about it? Does it fit your playing style?
Yeah, it does, for sure. Like I said, it just allows us to play fast and physical and play to our abilities. And like I said, when we're able to do that, I feel like not just me, but other guys are happy for that as well.
How much versatility do you see among the defensive backs? Guys that play in different spots when they're called upon. Do you have a lot of that in this group?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I preach that a lot because it just expands, not just helps the player. And, the more you know, the more it's going to help you be on the field and help the team too, because you never know what your role is on the team. You never know when your name is called. And having, a lot of the guys that are versatile is going to help us in the defensive backfield.
Helps you guys get more guys get on the field too as well.
For sure.
Braeden, Coach Grinch mentioned he was mad at you for a play. I figured I'd ask, is it all right if you show the play?
He said, you can show the play.
No, share the play.
Oh,
yeah.
It was just a little screen and go action, but we learn from those. That's why we practice, and we're gonna get it fixed up and coached up, and we learn from our mistakes.
And I ask you that to say, how has Coach Grinch helped you grow as a defensive back, and his different coaching styles help you grow as a player?
It helped a lot. Coach Grinch gonna make sure we're focused and locked in every day, and just making sure we're locked in every day, stacking days. It's gonna help us as a player.
What's a personal or team statistic that you point to that'll show you it's been a great season?
Gonna have the later chips. Fall. See what that happens at the end of the year with the Big 12 championship.
For Coach Grinch, he shows major intensity out there that we've been able to see through practice. I mean, what does that mean to you? Is that something that you feel like the defense is able to mirror?
Yeah, for sure. Coach Grinch is a passionate coach, and it feeds on us. He's going to have us ready to play, and I'm just happy that he's one of my coaches.
Great. You don't probably know a lot about Jacksonville State going into next week's game. What have you been kind of focusing on a little bit as a secondary to kind of pay attention to going into that?
Like Jay Will said, we don't know too much about him, but Coach Grinch, he's told us, trust our rules, and we prepare all year for this, and trust our rules, and we're gonna let them lay the chips fall where they gotta fall and execute what we gotta do.
Braeden, what's the biggest thing you think this team needs to do in order to prepare for between now and next week against Jacksonville State?
Make sure our bodies are ready to play. Make sure we're ready. I feel like we get right, focus on what we got to do, focus on the game plan, and execute what we got to do, and let the chips fall where they got to fall.
How ready are you just to face somebody else?
I'm super excited. Like I said, just what happened last year, dealing with injuries, season cut short, it just means a lot for me just to be out there with my brothers, and I feel like a lot of my brothers can say that too.
Can you describe how the team is right now, just your mindset and the feeling, new coaching staff, a lot of new players? You're a guy who has perspective because you've been here through it all. Just kind of what is the team like right now? How are they feeling going into a season?
Fired up, ready to play somebody else. And like I said, Coach Foster's done a great job with doing that. And we're going to be ready to play for sure.
Braeden, can you describe the feeling that goes through you when you step on the field with Miles Austin game day?
It's an amazing feeling, just being from here. Just the whole Orlando coming out to support, it just means a lot to me and my family too. And I'm ready for this season.
All set? Braeden,